welcome to my period stories. I am Funke, Treasure, your host. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, also known as PCOS, affects between 5 to 10% women of reproductive age. It's a common endocrine disorder. It affects as many as 1 out of 15 women. And despite the high incidence of PCOS, most Nigerian women, especially teenagers, do not know much about it. And here on my period stories, we've received more than a handful of inquiries about irregular periods, mostly from teenagers, such that we decided to take a closer look at this period condition that bothers a lot of our teenagers. This is one period story to know. Let's tell you more after the break. Right. Our guest is not a doctor. She lives with a period condition called PCOS, and she wants confidentiality. When I had a pre-show chat with her, she told me she wants to be on the podcast for 3 reasons. 1, to help someone out there, to get women to pay attention and nip it in the bud to prevent it from escalating. And thirdly, for awareness. So here we are. We're adopting the name Kemi. So Kemi, welcome to my period stories.
Thank you very much.
Right. In PCOS, the hormones get out of balance. One hormone change triggers another, and that one, triggers another. And it's from one kind of dealing with one kind of mood and then another one. Reports from different countries show a diversity in the incidence of PCOS. I know that irregular periods is one of the symptoms or one of the things you deal with when one has a PCOS. So you talk to us about your experience. First of all, did I represent you right? Those 3 reasons?
Yes, you
Fabulous. Did. So let's talk about your experience starting from the irregular periods.
My experience, it's been a roller coaster. And the irregular periods is usually the first thing. It's the major thing that you can talk about. But that's just one of them. But then there's also the absence of periods, which can go on for months. And then you also have the heavy menstruation. I think that's the one thing that has really bothered me, having to not be able to go out or do your daily tasks because you're flowing very heavy. So that's one major thing. And then you have the mood changes as well. It's out of control. And then there's just so many things I could just mention. You have the physical effects of PCOS, the dark patches and all of that. It's just there.
I'm coming to the physical effects, but let's go back to the irregular periods. In your own case, how irregular is it?
Okay, first when it started, it would just go like 2 months. I would go 2 months without having my period. And then it would come again for another 3 months. But then when it got worse, I noticed 3-4 months. In fact, the last time I went 6 months, without having
That's like half a year.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
Okay, well, at first.
Actually, we don't like menstruation, do we? Yes. We don't like periods. So it'd be like period break.
Exactly. So the first 2-3 months, I was happy. I was like, oh, okay, I get to rest. No pads, buying of pads and all of that. The 4th month, I was like, okay. 5th month, I was like, okay, now this is serious.
There's trouble.
Yeah. And then the 6th month, I was like, okay, I need to start doing something about this because
what did you do about it?
I've been to a doctor. I've been on some medications, but within that 6 months, because I already know what it was, I didn't really bother. But thankfully, at the end of the 6 months, by the time I was going to go back to the hospital again, it finally came around.
So it can be induced. Periods can be induced. So
yes. It can
Really?
be. I've never had mine induced before though, but it can be.
Okay, let me take you back to the irregular periods. Eventually, so after the 6 months and your period came again, how long did it stay before it left
It's
again?
it was there for 26 days. So I had my period
Wait a
for
minute. It means that you were bleeding for 26 days?
yes, non-stop.
Like regular, morning to night?
Heavy.
That's
26
like
days.
a month.
Exactly.
And then it disappeared.
Yes.
Oh my word. How did you cope?
Wasn't easy at all. In fact, I didn't cope. It was just here and there. So today I'm here, tomorrow I'm there.
How
Just
do you
had
mean I'm here and there? Like you were dealing with the moods? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Some days I would just ignore it, like just go about my day because I'm sort of used to it already. But then on some days it would still weigh me down because it's here. I can't do the things that I would normally do.
Well, let me recap and ask or rewind and ask you, when was the first time you experienced period?
I was 11.
Oh, it came quite early.
Yes, I was 11. And I think it was from there that it's been irregular since then. It would come 1 month and go for 2 months, like that. But then I was young. So I thought, oh, that's how it is with everybody. And then I just got used to it.
So at what point did you realize that, no, this is a challenge?
It was like that till I was 20, off and on. I knew, okay, this, in fact, I couldn't track my period because I know this month it may come, next month it may not be here.
So all the things we tell young girls in school, this is how the circle moves. And counts. So, yeah, you couldn't
I was
count
never able
anything.
to do that. I was never able to do that. So it was when I was 20, it disappeared for 4 months. So 3 months I was like, okay. But the 4th month I got concerned. And then my aunt is a nurse, so I told her about it. And at first I felt like it was infection because we had recently moved to a village. So I thought, okay, maybe it was just infection. Got drugs, nothing happened. And then when it came for 12 days. So I got scared, and when I told my aunt again, she said, oh, maybe because, it's not been here for 4 months.
So your aunt also didn't have an idea what was going on. So at what point did you realize that this is PCOS?
I think that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So when it now became consistent from that moment, 3 months it wouldn't come when it would come 14 days, 16 days. So I knew something was wrong. And then I started making my own research though. But then, Google would give you a long list of, and then I went to the hospital and discovered that it was PCOS.
Just 2 years ago.
Yes.
And you had started seeing your period since you were 11. And now you're how old?
Now I'm 24.
So give and take, that's about 13 years in between before you realize that you're all along you'd been dealing with PCOS.
Yes, PCOS, yes.
Wow. So I'm wondering, 13 years of dealing with irregular periods, what are the other things? When I go to the next question, what were the other things you had experienced with the PCOS?
But I think there's been a lot of symptoms that I didn't really, it bothered me though, but I didn't read them because I didn't know. For example, the dark patches, there was a period I couldn't go out without a scarf to wrap around my neck.
Where were the dark patches? Like
around my neck and my armpit.
They'll just suddenly have some sort of discoloration?
Yes. Okay. So even when I'm putting on something, because of the dark patches, I had to go out with a scarf because I felt like I wasn't taking care of myself, not knowing that there was actually an underlying reason. The same thing with dark armpits as well. Just dark patches everywhere. So I had to cover up most of the time.
On your legs too?
No. My legs were good.
Okay.
But mostly my upper body.
So how did they fade away at the end of the day?
I can't say they have. But since I've started on medications and some little changes here and there, it's gotten better.
Oh, wow. So what about relationships?
Well, since the early parts, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't really get into relationships that early. But later, since I discovered it was a thing and it's not something I caused, something that just happened to me, it's been fine. For people that are very close to me, people that I can actually talk to, they know about it. For other people, well, they don't need to know.
Do you not think it will stand between you and having a meaningful relationship? Are you afraid that it might hamper any, serious relationship that you may want to go into?
First, no, I'm not, because first I have the things that I'm looking forward to in a relationship, and if I cannot talk to someone I want to be in a relationship to about this, then that's not a relationship worth going into in the first place.
We'll pick up on this relationship and more after the break. You're watching My Period Stories. I'm Funke Treasure. We've been talking about polycystic ovarian syndrome, also known as PCOS, and our guest lives with the period condition. She's here to share her story. Now, PCOS is not a new condition. We hear that Italian physician Antonio Vallisneri first described its symptoms in 1721. And don't despair if you sense this is your period story. Many women have managed to have successful lives in spite of it. So let me come back to Kemi now. You've talked about dark patches. You've talked about hair distribution. You don't have that. You're not dealing with that. We know that PCOS also has mood swings. Do you go through that as well?
Yes.
How does it affect you in the workplace? Because I know you're a teacher, and I'm wondering, how do you cope in school?
Well, first things first, Nigeria is Nigeria. So you can't really bring in your personal life. But it does affect me. There are sometimes I go to school and for like 3 hours, I can't stand in front of my kids. I have to just feels like taking myself out of the workplace. I have to think, I have to calm down before I'm able to face people. So it really messes with my head many a times. Sometimes I can't even step out of the house. I have to call the school, oh, I'm sick. I'm not really sick, but I know I'm not in that mood to actually go out.
You're not in a space to relate with people. You're just not up to it. Because I've been there. I've been to such spaces in my life as well. So I understand what it means sometimes when you really don't just feel like
talking to people at all. Exactly.
And relating. You just want to be, you're withdrawn. And it's fine because there are 4 main effects of PCOS. There's depression, there is the obesity, there is metabolism syndrome, and then there is the sleep apnea.
Yes.
You're saying, yes, you have mood swings, but it's never gotten to that point that you think you're really depressed.
It has.
Oh, it has?
Yes, it has.
So how did you manage? How did you deal with that?
Well, for one, depression is one thing I've been dealing with since I was young. So I've had things, for example, music helps a lot. And then sometimes I pick up my Bible, try to take myself out of the moment. And then I also try to think about other things that I'm grateful for. And like you said, just being alone, really. Being able to absorb myself in my problems as it is alone, away from people, kind of helps me get through that phase. whenever
So
I'm
you're not on
depressed.
any medication to help through the depression.
No, no,
You're not
no.
seeing any doctor for it.
No,
Do you have a
I'm not.
personal gynecologist? Do you?
No, I don't.
Also, you've been managing this all on your own.
Yes.
Perhaps you should get one.
Yes, I do have a doctor because I recently switched. Initially, when I started going to the hospital, I was using General Hospital, but then I noticed, there's a long queue. Doctor doesn't really have your time. Just wants to move on to the next patient. So I just recently switched to a private hospital.
Okay. Hopefully you get the care that you deserve there. Okay, so there is the sleep apnea also. Does that happen to you?
Yes, it does.
Really? Tell me how it presents.
Okay. Most times I go to bed first. Sometimes it's difficult sleeping. And then when I do sleep in the middle of the night, it feels like someone is choking, like I'm choking. So I have to wake up all of a sudden, gasping for air. Sometimes it's even hard to go back to sleep. There was this period, it happened so many times, in fact, every night that I was scared to go to sleep because I felt like if I go to sleep, I would die from there. So I would sleep during the day, try to sleep during the day where I know I'm still very much alert. And then at night, just work at night.
That's not a good place to be.
It's
When you're
not.
afraid of the dark and you're afraid of the night.
Oh, yes.
I could almost just write a piece about that, afraid of the night. Okay, that's just making light of it. But I know that it's not an easy thing to dread nighttime
So, yes.
because you're going to go through sleep apnea. Apart from that, there's also obesity. I'm looking at you. You're not big. It means that you're not indulging because of anything. Talk to me about that.
First, it's in my nature to be big. And then this came along. I was big.
You were.
Yes, I was big. Like people who knew me when I was much smaller, they would see me and be like, "What's going on?" It felt like I was being pumped every day. But when I discovered that, okay, this is the reason behind it, I was able to watch exercise, my diets, and everything. And I've just been able to keep that in check.
All right, we'll take another break at this point. When we come back, we continue with our guest, Kemi, who's sharing our experience about PCOS. You're watching My Period Stories, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, PCOS. That's what we've been talking about. And we have someone who lives with that period condition here with us in the studio. Kemi had said earlier that she wants to guest on My Period Stories today for 3 reasons. And I, read out the reasons earlier. So let's come back to your agenda for being here. So what would you like to say to people to nip it in the bud? It took you 13 years to discover, or just about 13 years to discover that you're dealing with PCOS. What would you have done differently that you'd like to share with everyone?
I think if I had spoken up earlier, then I would have figured out that it was a problem. It wasn't normal for me to miss periods in between. And then we probably would have been able to figure out what the problem was. And probably, even though it said that it doesn't have a cure, but probably would have been able to manage it better than struggling with it now. So I think that's something that women, young girls should pay attention to. We're starting to learn that when it comes to health, there's nothing you should be ashamed of, especially to people that are close to you, because you keep quiet about it, it gets worse, and it gets to a time where you may not be able to control it. So I think that's something they
so
should
when
know.
you say they can manage it, how do you manage PCOS? How have you managed it?
Okay, starting with the doctor or Yes, the doctor tells me, okay, exercise, your diet, and all
What
of
is it
that.
about diet? What are you supposed to be eating? What do you eat?
Okay, first, I limit carbohydrates. Bread used to be something that I love, but bread is one thing that is very dangerous. So, carbohydrates, and then more of water, vitamins, complex sugars, fruits, vegetables, and things like that really helps. That's more of my diet now.
So, what about other ways that you've managed this condition?
There's exercise. I think exercise, the diet are the things that you can do on your own at home to manage it.
So, it's not necessarily going to the gym,
No,
working out,
no,
up, up,
no,
up.
that doesn't work.
Not that.
Just exercise. As long as you do your daily exercise, it could be indoors, it could be outdoors. Sometimes taking a walk every day.
That's what you do.
Yes, taking
Okay.
a walk every day can help. Simple exercises really can help.
So, what about the sleep apnea? What have you
For
done?
me, I couldn't really do anything about it for a
Have you
while.
told your doctor about it?
Yes, I did mention it as part of the symptoms, but I realized I can't say that it went away because the PCOS is still here. Who knows? It may come back. But as with many of my symptoms, they come and they go.
So, it's a body of symptoms.
Yes, it is. It is.
Apart from
So,
the regular periods having the tendency to get big, the sleep apnea. What other things?
there's the pain, the headaches first, and the
Do you have pain with it as well?
Yes, I started having cramps as well.
Oh.
I mean, terrible cramps. I'll be rolling on the floor. Then there's also more muscle spasms around my waist. So when that starts, I think that's like the highlights because it feels like you're being electrocuted. So when it happens like that, sometimes even in the middle of the road, I just have to stand still. And people are looking at me like, what's wrong with her? But they don't know what I'm going through. I can't bend. I can't, sometimes you can't even lying in one position. It just feels like someone is touching you or something. So there's that too as well. The mood swings, dark patches. So it's just a whole lot. Sometimes I wake up. In fact, there was a period when I wake up every day, I'm expecting one pain or the other. It's either my head or my hands or my legs. Something must happen. But that also went away for a period. So it's quite a whole lot. It's like it just comes as a package.
Amazing. Your third reason for being here is to bring awareness. Let us just suppose that there is someone here who's also going through this. What would you say to that person?
First, it can be managed. And there's, like my aunt would say, the more you think about it, the more it brings you down. While you do not have control over it, just let it happen. I went 6 months. I was worried sometimes, but I think what really helped me was I didn't think about it too much. I didn't allow it weigh me down. And so I just felt like, you know what, when you're ready, you would come. And it did come. So I think those are my words. While we do not want to play with it because of the end results, there's diabetes, there's endometrial cancer, there's obesity, heart disease. So while we do not want to just relax and do nothing about it, we also do not want to let it weigh us down and get in the way of our normal daily tasks.
Okay, Kemi. Finally, say something to HR. Because, in many workplaces and many offices, we deal with women and everyone deals with HR department and they wield the big stick. Having to go through this period condition and having to take some time off work and having to convince the HR manager that, look, I'm going through this. What do you say about menstrual leave? How do you present that to HR people watching us now?
I'd like to beg them to understand that sometimes we don't have control. We want to. Like, I want to come to work, but sometimes I just really cannot. The fact that one woman is fine doesn't mean that another is fine. I mean, there were so many days where I just had to get up and go to work. But thankfully, my HR, she was understanding. She's been through something like that before. So when I tell her I can't make it today, she's like, just rest. So I want to appeal to HRs to be understanding. Someone once said, oh, women these days, they're just forming. Our mothers then did not have things like that. I'm like, you don't know. The fact that you're not a woman now, you don't know what they are dealing with. So they should just understand that sometimes menstrual leave is not just something they need, it's like a must, because it can really not just interfere with work, but with their entire lives as well.
Thank you very much, Kemi, for coming on My Period Stories. You have shared with us a moving period story. I don't even need to ask you what's your period story because you shared with us an extensive one. We thank you for your courage to share with us and your willingness to also share the things that you've gone through. Thank you so very much. Treatments can help control the symptoms and prevent long-term complications like infertility, heart diseases, and diabetes, as you've heard from Kemi. What a period story. What a story. What an experience. Many women suffer from PCOS. They're in the workplace, so HR managers can be more empathetic and better disposed to menstrual leave to women with difficult periods or period conditions. Support our advocacy for menstrual leave in the workplace. We'll be back again next week with My Period Stories. I'm Funke Treasure asking you to let's do this again.